Hello, this is Grace, and some people know me by Diana. Actually, my name is Diana Grace, but most people call me Grace. And what you're looking at here is something I made out of wire. I'm always making things out of wire or paper or clay or something. I'm just always got to have my hands busy. But this is my version of the atom. You see it has the flower of life here in the center and all these vector equilibriums, there's 3 sets of them, come from it. And the vector equilibrium is a very important symbol which I will speak about later. But I'm going to turn some music on and talk about something very important. I've got my computer set up to be a background noise. A beautiful song called Following the Sun. But now I want to show you down here on a sketchbook that I've been drawing these little figures, and you might think, well, what in the world is that? For a long time now, going on a couple of years, I've been looking at the sun when it was low in the sky or early in the morning, when it isn't too bright and it's low in the sky as well. And if you squint your eyes, you can see little things in the air that look sort of like these things. Now, a lot of people see what is called eye floaters because part of their retina is torn and it floats on their eye and impairs their vision. But this isn't that. Everyone said, oh, that's what you're seeing. But I knew it wasn't because it never blurred my vision, and it was something I only would see if I squinted my eyes on any day that you're outside in the blue sky above you. Well, the blue sky is an excellent backdrop for seeing these, and I've given them a name. They look all kinds of ways, and they travel in all kinds of directions. Zigzagging, going first one way and another, and it always seems to me that they are right in front of me. If I turn my head, they move with me to be again right in front of me. And it's almost like I were inside of a kind of a egg-shaped bubble of some sort. And these, which I'm going to call them a name because I talk about them so much I have to give them a name. I call them GTLs, which stands for Gossamer Threads of Light, or Gossamer Tubes of Light, because they look tube-like and then they look thread-like as well. And they just float around, and it's very interesting to see them. And I have a whole theory about why I can see them, but I'll have to refer you to a video to watch in which I talk about that. But now I want to tell you that this is not all that I see, because I discovered that looking at light, not just the sunlight, but there's a light I have in my room. It's a very bright little light, and as a matter of fact, I'll show you. It's right here. It's a little LED light, and I can move it around to point in any direction. And the light that comes from this little light is showing me all of these things here, only close up in detail. All the little GTLs, and oh, so much more. It's like looking into this light. It's like I were at a laser light show, only the most fantastic laser light show you ever saw. It's really quite psychedelic. I mean, I don't imagine that anyone on drugs could see anything more wondrous than what I'm seeing. So I wanted to tell people that might be interested in this, that the light is full of activity. There's colors and there's floating little things that they don't look like anything in our world, except you might say a tube or a worm or a snake. because they're long, tube-like things. But they don't have faces or anything. And you don't see them moving about, gathering stuff like you might see under a microscope, little amoeba type things moving about and eating stuff all around them. But they do join with others. What I think they are fragments of light. And they are getting together in some really weird ways. Some of them these days that I see are like this picture on this page. They have bundled themselves up in such a little wad that they're growing in a different sort of way. Sometimes they even twist around sort of like a DNA strand like that. But they can look like anything. They can just, they evolve. Since I first saw them, they just looked like branches of a tree or something that just floated like it was something being blown, but wasn't moving independently, but was moving as units. And there would be some behind and some in front, but never did they ever seem to interfere with the movements of any other thing. It's like all of these little GTLs were occupying pretty much the same space, but not interfering with each other. Okay, now, when I look at the light, say this is my little light right here, or that one. Now, there's my symbol for that. I see light coming straight up, and this part right here is real white, bright light, and then it breaks into all these colors, and then at the end of the colors it just sparkles. This picture is so inadequate. I almost didn't want to do this because I cannot draw it as beautiful as it really is. It's amazing me each and every time I look at the light. And I look at it almost every day because it's like a kind of communication now. But the light comes straight up and straight down, and then curves of light come from the center. And these curves of light go round. And it's like you're looking through a tube, but not just one. It's not just one tube there. I don't show it very well, but it's like there's all these light streams are turning in curves and making many, many, many hollow tubes that you look straight down. And the light that comes from the bottom, if this comes, and I can see it right on my cheek. Now, this light that comes down this way is many colors too. At first it was just light that was all light colored, but now it's developed many, many colors. And it hits me right on my cheek. I don't feel it, but I see it at my skin, because when you look down on your face, you can see part of your cheek. And so I feel like if I were somewhere in space and all I could see was light and I didn't know a reference for what is up and what is down, and I saw light, this part of the light seems to come straight out. I can't show it good with this picturing of it, but it seems to be moving toward me and toward the bottom of my face. Now the light that goes up seems to be moving toward my eyes. And these whiter, brighter pieces of the light, they vortex. They open up into big roundness. Here's a little example of it. They open up into this is just one portion of it, because see, all that I'm going to show you, it moves. So I'm just showing you it still, so it's really, really hard to picture this. And I don't think I've done my best at drawing all this. It just seems to be impossible. But now, when you squint your eyes a certain way, this light bubbles up and all the GTLs float through it. And this is just showing how, from all this light right here, it'll bubble up into a roundness that I don't usually see the complete roundness of it, but just part of it. And it has spiky little edges. And any of those edges can get so bright that it comes out and makes one of these, or one of these. And the GTLs, they float throughout it. And pretty soon you get to where you don't even notice them, but they're always there. They're in every thing that I see. They float through it. It's like it were in its environment was, oh, I'm messing up. It's like the GTL's environment is all this light that is coming up. And this light vortexes first to the right, then to the left, and back and forth. And it sometimes even, I'll show you on this page. Now this is really weird, but sometimes the light doesn't just go in one direction. It goes up, down, zigzag, any kind of way. It even makes patterns, like as if it were weaving something. And it's almost like weaving a rug or something. You know, you weave the light in and out, and you can see where it is kind of like basket weave in a way. Now, I'm going to show you something else about the light. This is another picture page where I have pictures of the light. There was one evening when I was looking at the light, and this was a very special evening because of what the light did for me that night. I had become kind of emotional remembering something that was hurtful that happened to me, and tears welled up in my eyes, and then the light sort of let me travel. It was like if I were a diver diving out into the ocean, and I was diving through seaweed hanging down or something like that. I was just moving through, and it let me move through and up real close to one of these strands of light, which seemed to be open and full of little diamonds just running through it. They looked so sparkly, the insides of it. And I saw a cut on one side and then a cut on the other side, as though a piece of it were cut out. And I always thought that maybe they cut that out for me because it was so unusual to see it cut. It's like, here, we'll give you a starter shoot or something. And that was just a real special time, because moving through the light with my vision, it's like, how do I say? It's like it morphs and it moves, and it's like it's water, and it's also like it were fire because it sparkles so much. It's like fire. Now I will show you. Let me get you another picture. I have several pictures. Okay, say I'm looking at the light here, and it comes up and makes its little vortexing whiteness, and all the light shoots off from it up here, and then just this part sparkly. And the colors in it are just every color. And the dimensions in this, which I can't show because I'm not that great an artist, but this, like, you could travel into this area visually because there's depth to it. Now, some of these strands of light come out. They've been doing this recently. They come out and they come toward me. Let's see, like this one I show. They come toward my vision, my face, and I can see that they are the same kind of little things the GTLs are, only these are big long strands of it. And it's exciting looking at this, and I look at it almost every day. I also have more to talk about and more pictures, none of which adequately speak of the splendor this light is. It just cannot be captured. And sometimes I wonder at myself that I want to put it down, captured as a picture, and label it. Because sometimes when you label things, that isn't so good. We restrict what they can be. But there will be no final picture of these because these move all the time. They're always morphing. I will talk more about it in my next video because now I am about to use up my minutes. Talk to you later.